Most people are so focused on what to eat for health, they completely miss the most important part of the digestion process. Because you can eat the most nutrient-dense, clean, organic meal on the planet, but if your body isn't in the right state to digest it, you'll be absorbing a fraction of it. And that's called malabsorption. And when that's happening, most of the goodness you've spent money on shoots straight out the other end. And it leaves you with that post-lunch crash that sends you to sleep, or the gas, the cramping, the heaviness that sits in your gut for hours. But the good news is most people completely change this in just a few minutes a day. And research is very clear on this. How you eat and what you do before and after the meal can have just as much impact as on the meal itself. So today I'll show you 4 simple science-backed habits that help fix this, including how to switch on your digestion before you've even taken that first bite. And then I've got a 60-second habit that just calms the post-meal bloat. And stick around because I've also got an ancient hack that's backed by modern science that helps you drop your blood sugar as well as your weight. Hi, I'm Leilani. I'm a clinical nutritionist and I'm a chef. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm here to help you get your gut health in a better place. So let's get into it. Point 1, you're gonna prime your digestion before the first bite. I love this one because it literally takes 30 seconds. You're going to eat a few bites of bitter foods about 10 or 15 minutes before your meal. So something like rocket, endive, radicchio, dandelion greens, all your favorites, right? It works because your gut actually contains bitter taste receptors. They're called T2Rs. And when they're activated, they help signal your digestive system to ramp up gastric acid and the digestive enzymes before the food arrives. It's basically like switching on a digestive ignition switch. And then there are other pre-meal digestive hacks in case bitter isn't your thing. Take a teaspoon of raw sauerkraut brine. This is like the liquid gold for your gut health. It has to be the real deal, the raw, the live refrigerated stuff, because only that brine is teeming with these live lactobacillus bacteria that gives your gut ecosystem a heads up that, hey, food is coming. So it stimulates the bile flow and peristalsis. This is that wave-like motion that moves gut through your food. Now, this is not new, by the way, guys. Ancient practices right across Europe, Middle East, and Asia have made these habits part of their daily living for millennia. And look, if fermented foods aren't your thing either, just get yourself a good digestive enzyme capsule and take it before the meal as well. Or you could just put a squeeze of lemon in water before, because that will also make a difference. Now, if you're someone who feels worse when you eat sauerkraut or fermented foods, it can commonly be a histamine intolerance or a histamine type reaction. And I'll get into what to do about that in a minute. And some of the symptoms with that, especially if you're prone to headaches after red wine, you overreact to mosquito bites or mid bites, or you feel like you just can't eat those healthy foods anymore. Because I see this pattern a lot with my clients. Moving on to point 2, breathe before you eat. Because what if bloating has nothing to do with what you're eating and everything to do with the state you're eating in? And this one sounds almost too simple, right? I used to roll my eyes at breathing advice too, but hear me out. Your body has 2 modes, fight or flight, and I like to add fat storage with that. That's your sympathetic nervous system. And then you've got rest and digest. That's self-explanatory. Your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is when your digestion fully switches on. The stomach acid, the bile, the digestive enzymes, everything that requires to break down the food. And even if you're mildly stressed or rushed, eating on the go, the blood flow moves away from your organs to your muscles. So you can be eating the cleanest food in the world and barely absorbing any of it. So just a few diaphragmatic breathing before the meal works, but you have to extend the exhale. That's how you activate your vagus nerve. That's the direct line between your brain and your gut. and one of the most important players in healthy digestion. So here's the fix. You're going to sit down to eat. You're going to take 5 slow breaths in and then exhale for longer than the inhale. So maybe it's 4 counts in, 6 counts out. And while you're doing this, I want you to actually smell the food. I want you to aim for this little salivary waterfall coming from your mouth. That's the cephalic phase kicking in. That's digestion beginning before you've even eaten anything. That's what we want. And look, I mean, who hasn't eaten leftovers at the fridge, half stressed on a work call, or running from the kids, so screaming? I see you, I've done it too. But your health is more important than work. So take a break. You do deserve to prioritize your health. Now let me know in the comments, what are you eating for lunch today? I've made a red wine lamb shank stew with mashed potatoes. It's winter in Australia, or close to it. So let's get back onto the histamine for a quick sec. If you feel worse after eating the fermented foods, here's why it matters for your gut health and why the issue might have to do with histamine intolerance. Histamine is broken down by an enzyme called DAO. When the gut lining is damaged, the DAO production tanks. So suddenly foods that were totally fine aren't anymore. And these can be very healthy foods as well, the ones that are meant to improve your digestion and help heal your gut. But they can start making you feel worse. And here's the thing, it's not permanent. You have to repair the gut lining, restore your enzymes, and then you can get back to eating the wide variety of foods you used to love. But you've got to do it in the right order. And I do see this in clinic a lot, people eating really well, doing all the right things, and actually still feeling like they're getting worse. And I know it's frustrating. I've been there myself actually, and that's why I'm a health practitioner. And it's also why I created my gut reset and repair protocol, or program. It's mixed of both. This is a step-by-step clinical protocol for people who just don't have the time or the money for one-on-one consults with, say, someone like me. And it is designed for busy people, and I'll put the link in the description so you can go and check it out. All right, let's move on to point 3. And this is a habit I do every single day. And it really shifted my post-meal discomfort. Drink a glass or a cup of warm fennel or licorice tea after meals. I know what you're thinking. Just try it. It is surprisingly soothing, and it's doing more for your digestion than you'd expect from a tea bag. A 2025 study in the Gastroenterology found fennel tea relaxes the upper stomach to ease the pressure and fullness after eating, and while gently promoting contractions in the lower stomach to help food move along. So your top gets a calm down, bottom gets going, exactly what you want when you're feeling bloated or heavy after a meal. Now this next point is the ancient habit that helps drop the blood sugar, the bloating, and the weight. Right, it's point 4. And after your biggest meal, I want you to grab your furry little friend or your phone if you have to, and I want you to go for a short walk around the block. You don't have to do it fast, you don't have to put gym gear on. Just moving your body significantly reduces your post-meal blood sugar insulin spike that signals your body to store fat. So this walk blunts the spike, supports your digestion and your gut microbiome and your weight all in 10 minutes. I'd say that's pretty good. And you've even got a 2021 randomized control trial compared a 10-minute walk against a prokinetic medication. These are the kind that doctors prescribe for bloating, and the walk actually performed as well as the drug, right? That's as effective as a prescription. I think that's pretty good. Now in Turkey, where I spent a lot of my time, the post-meal dinner walk is just what everybody does. The whole family goes. And it's the same across the Middle East, Southern Japan, Southern Europe, Japan. Thousands of years of people understanding intuitively what we forgot the moment we swapped the evening walk for a Netflix binge session. But now science is catching up, and you need to too. So there we go, 4 habits backed by science and ancient wisdom. Together they're going to help address your gut-brain connection, digestive chemistry, gut motility, post-meal glucose. So let me know, guys, if this video helped you. Hit subscribe, leave me a like. That one click helps me show up for you every single week with this practical science-backed strategies to improve your gut health that fit into real busy lives. Let's do this together. Until next time, love your guts.